In this video, I'm going to talk about why being spiteful gets you absolutely nowhere. Honestly, when it comes to hatred and being how I am, I can never feel like that the decision that I make could be bliss. I'm incredibly, and I have a nuance and a type of empathetic adversary for my life. I feel like that deep down in the inside that my ego could be huge at times is the reason why I tend to humble myself in a certain type of direction of my life. And as I see so fit, is that when I became at this apparatus in my life and I started to have an ambiguous way of learning about certain type of people on a certain type of level of having discernment, I started to deprive myself of a lot of my energy and a lot of my clauses in a sense where I had people in my life where they've done things and I've had to learn to refrain myself from having a hateful nature. In a sense where I do feel valid for the reason of feeling how I feel, and I can't have a copium for how the way of a continuous reason for allowing them in my life. I realized that hatred is a very strong component. Because a long time ago, your parents would be like, don't ever say you hate something because that's a very strong word. I think the more that you hate, the more that you love. And in the sense of that, it's like, it's true. The more that I've hated on an ex-lover or I've hated on a friend, it was more of me feeling a certain type of way rather than just accepting the fact that it's never going to be that anymore. So as I allowed myself to read the masteries on love, and I've had to develop a certain type of quality of reading things when it doesn't go the way that you want it, I've accepted the fact that these things have came into my life as, lessons and turning points and not as a reason for me to hate. Hating only came at a price of my life being in a certain type of way and me not accepting the fact that it came with flaws. Like most of the women that I had in my life came with a bunch of wrong opportunities that I could have seen as, it could be seen in a lens. It's like you're looking through a vision and you're kind of coming up with a accommodation for how you feel about a certain type of matter, about a certain type of person. And as you begin to, have this self identity with yourself, you realize that the love and that the hate is coming from somewhere closer than you realize. As a neighbor to my own self, I didn't realize how far stretched I was from my own understanding of how my own psyche could be comprehended as, as a man that indulged in psychology even after college because I never wanted to get hurt again. I started to realize I started getting into a lot of tactics that I could have been used as like dark magic to get over on people because I was getting over on people, and realistically I was only learning because I didn't want to be swayed again or misjudged or interpreted in a certain type of way. The only problem that I felt going into a certain type of vision from my own understanding is that I had these compromises and I had to learn how to get over the fact that people will do me dirty and I can't hold them at a higher degree than myself. That's the way it goes. It's like being hateful, being spiteful, having a certain type of reason for why you feel a certain type of way about a certain type of person. It is very it's normalized, and hate speech and making fun of somebody because you don't like them. It's a certain type of way. Like I feel like people are spiteful for no reason. Anyway, y'all saw the cat. I was distracted. But yeah, hate is very, very, very or people are spiteful to people. That's where I was getting at. People are spiteful to people. They don't show consideration. I feel like a lot of people get possessed by hateful nature by just viewing you on a lens that they can't interpret. Like they expect you to be a certain type of way and they'll hold grudges for you because they don't understand why you move or how you love yourself in a certain type of way. And people hate that. Spiteful nature is something that comes from leaving ourselves at a threshold of or confusion. Like when I'm confused about a certain type of topic or my feelings and emotions are being plagued, I realized that the hatred came from illogical thinking. It came from having a lot of compromises in my life. I started understanding that these things come at a place where I'm continuously indulging in the things that I love. No matter how much I see so fit, the more time that I've been able to use and understand how these things last is that I've became so hateful to the point where, like I said, it became an obsession. It became a reason for why I feel the certain type of way that I do. And I had to get off on a lot of reasoning for how I feel. And those people, like, seeing their success after my downfall really made me spiteful. It made me realize, like, man, I'm having a certain type of quality about my life that I can't even see for myself. I'm seeing, marriages happen when I want love, or, I'm seeing a lot of spitefulness comes from jealousy and envy. And I had to realize, like, my time will come when I get to experience a certain type of love, and that, even though I love myself and I identify as such, my love life is going to take a turning point when it does and when it's not. You got to compromise with your ego. You have to compromise with the reason of feeling a certain type of way about a certain type of topic, because the more that you put yourself in a position to feel spiteful or jealous or hold envy, this nature that you feel inside of you is not yourself. And a lot of people need to discover themselves as being empathetic and have a real valid reason for why you have this speech or this continuous nature of feeling like you need to bully or harm a person in a certain type of way. Loving others, or I think reading The Mastery is Love last year. I think it was last year where I read that book, and I read it because I was really hopeless and I didn't understand the mannerisms on what actual it means to, or the law of equivalent exchange when it comes to actually showing people mercy and not expecting them to act in a certain type of way because you feel so much of this red energy in your system that is making you the aggressor and not the savior and not the person that is bringing peace in your life. I realized that deep down in the inside, making videos on like hateful nature towards the people that, once showed me love, it's just directly giving them more valid energy, and it's feeding them in a way of abundance, and I'm giving them what they want. They want the attention, they want to feel validated on a reason to feel how they feel, because most people love spiteful. They love spiteful-ish. They love feeling the way that they do, and they love having a reason for how they cope with things. I'm a real believer in that. I was never a spiteful child. Never had any hatred in my heart. But as I grew up, especially getting bullied, harassed, made fun of, I held those grudges, and I still do to this day. I'll say it for an experience in itself. I went to church. It was a couple of Sundays ago, and I saw a person that pretty much said that he would slap the ish out of me in my face and kind of disrespected me. And seeing his ego kind of deprived in the Christ kind of gave me the sense of like, man, people really do change. And sometimes I got to accept the fact that forgiveness is not only a valid reason for how I feel, but forgiveness is a wide branch of things. And I'll talk about that in another video if I haven't or not. But being spiteful, being hateful, having a sense of nature for yourself, there's no reason for feeling a valid reason for how you feel. A lot of people think that, once we're sitting here and we come into a, not a compromise, but we have a eventful situation that happens, people don't realize, like, man, it could feel so detrimental to your mental if you hold these people at a higher degree, and you begin to have this hatred in your heart because that's just not what your vessel is made for. Your vessel isn't made to overlap these experiences and turn them into a bulb of energy that you cannot relinquish in your life. It's a loop of just how you feel. And I think that's going to be the end of the video about just me and spitefulness. I have no valid reason to be hateful, to be in a certain type of energy or a certain type of way. I hold myself at a bigger degree than I do see such sometimes, and I gotta humble myself. And I can't hate on people just because I've been taught lessons due to them experiencing something that I have no valid reason for, or I have no reason to interpret it how I feel about the certain type of matter in a certain type of way where I'm not relinquishing the pain and using it to, like I said, make content or putting that energy towards something that gives me a certain type of abundance, not in the form of just like valid feelings or, reciprocating energy. I love y'all. I hope that y'all watch these videos with a grain of salt and continue to love yourself, bro, because in the time that you need it the most, you're going to need yourself and self-identify with those shadows that you need to, because if you can't, then you're going to be hateful. You're not going to want to see other people succeed, or you're going to feel invalid because of how your circumstance looks and how other people's lives is going to be. Comparison is terrible. But I'll see y'all in the next video. I love y'all. And yeah, I hope your day, morning, afternoon is blessed, and continue to be humble. Oh, I be forgetting to tell y'all to like the video and share, but y'all would do that anyway. This channel is not about being forced, but if you do love my content, I would love for you to subscribe and, have this journey for me, because I'm trying to make it out of this situation that I'm in. And, I want to be able to move to a certain type of area in my life. And I love y'all, and you just feel validated for how you feel. I'll see y'all in the next video.